It's time for Inside the L, the podcast covering all things LaSalle athletics and taking you behind the scenes. And now, here's your host, Ed LeFurge.
Welcome back to Inside the L, the podcast brought to you by our sponsors and good friends at NovaCare. I'm your host, Ed LeFurge. We thank NovaCare for their continued support of LaSalle athletics. We got a great episode on hand for you. It's our March Madness edition. This is episode 10 already, folks. Make sure you go back, check out the other ones. Just go ahead and subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube by searching LaSalle Athletics on all three platforms. Like I mentioned, it's our March Madness episode. We've got a fun one on hand. We're going to be joined by the head coach of the LaSalle women's basketball program, Mcgilvery. He just wrapped up his third regular season at the helm of that program, and they're getting ready to go off to the Atlantic 10 tournament next week. And then on the men's side, we'll have associate head coach Kyle Griffin. He's in his third season with the program, first as associate head coach after previously serving as an assistant coach for 2 seasons. He and his men's squad will be on the road to Richmond for the men's basketball tournament, which will start this week. Let's get right into things. We're going to start with head women's basketball coach, Mcgilvery. Coach, thanks so much for joining me. How are you and the family doing?
Hey, everybody's good. You might hear them in the background during the podcast, but I'm working at home today, but we're all good.
Always good to hear. You know, Mountain, it's been a long grind to get to this point in the season. Overall, how would you summarize this past year for your team?
You know, it's been a real blessing to have the opportunity to be on the court. It's been a tough year for everybody in all walks of life. LaSalle's been amazing in supporting our women's basketball team, getting us the opportunity to compete on a daily basis. Our training staff is just works so tirelessly to keep us healthy and get us tested and get us on the court. And our players have done the right things, and staff, trying to stay out of harm's way. And so really pleased that we've made it this far and looking to finish it off with a strong run in the tournament.
Yeah, you guys played more games than anybody this year in the league. So that's definitely a testament, I think, to everything that the training staff and you guys are doing. So that's certainly a good thing.
It's not on the Atlantic 10 awards, unfortunately.
Yeah. With the change in dates for the conference tournament, does that change how you prepare given this extra week off?
Yeah, I mean, I actually think it's probably a benefit to a team like ours. We went into the season thinking we were going to play a lot more bodies than we actually came down to playing. And, right now the team's just kind of developed in a way that we have 2 kids who are kind of carrying a lot of the scoring load and eating up a lot of minutes, and Kayla and Claire. And it's nice to get them some rest going into where a situation where if we want to do what we want to do, we got to win 4 games in a row. Yeah. That's a lot of games, a lot of days in a row. So it's nice to have this time where we can, sharpen our swords, but also get a lot of rest and some time off and be ready to go.
You mentioned, Kayla and Claire and being really the go-to scorers for this team for most of the season, but so many student athletes have had significant performances. Haley Hill, Deja King, Jay Haynes to start the season, Molly Massantonio, the list just goes on. And so what advantage does that give you heading into the tournament, knowing that you could have somebody throw up a career performance on any given night?
Yeah, and honestly, we were hoping for even more of those to go even deeper down. Morgan Adams got injured. Michelle Kazicki's been in and out with injury. We were hoping to be able to put 11 kids on the court who could get 20 on a given night. It hasn't quite worked out that way, but as you just mentioned, Deja King and Kate Hill and Haley Hill and Amy Jacobs and Molly Massantonio, Jay Haynes, they could go off on any one of these nights. So if you're going to count on, 17 from Kayla and 17 from Claire, and then you find a way to get double digits from 3 or 4 other kids, we could beat anybody. So that is, and it presents a problem on the other team on their scouting end.
you're going to go into this game. You're the 8th seed, the 8-9 game. It's a game a lot of teams fear for, because you win, you go on to play the top team in the league. But it'll be a familiar opponent in that first game with Duquesne, who literally just played, second to last game of the regular season. You guys split regular season series, each one on each other's home courts. Having seen them twice, what are some of the things you'll look for your squad to do in order to advance to the quarterfinals Friday against Dayton?
Yeah, let me just address the first part, the 8-9 game. Thrilled to be in the 8-9 game. I want to finish as high as we can finish every year. I'd like to be 7th, 6th, 1st. That would be ideal.
Yeah.
But I did not want to be in the 10-7 game to avoid the 8-9 game. No, thank you. I didn't want to finish 10th. The reality is, for us right now, if we win our first playoff game and lose to Dayton, I'll be happy for our program. We won our first playoff game. But the reality is, it doesn't matter when you play Dayton. No one gets to brag about making it to a conference championship, because no one cares. You go to the NCAA tournament, everyone cares. You make it to the conference championship, or you make it to a semifinal, it'll be nice for a next step forward, but it doesn't really mean anything. No one's going to remember 2 years from now, 3 years from now. But when you hang an NCAA tournament appearance banner up there, that's what counts. And the only way we're going to do that is to beat Dayton. So I'd rather play Dayton when we're fresh in game 2. Anyway, back to Duquesne, the most important thing at hand, because we're not beating Dayton without beating Duquesne. I had a good laugh this morning. So my mom follows our team religiously. She watches every game, and she doesn't know a whole lot about basketball. But, when we gave up, 30 second chance points against Howard, she texted me after the game. She said, "You guys need to be tougher." And she was spot on, right? And so today she said, "You guys you've gotten a lot tougher this year. I'm impressed." I said, "Thanks, Mom." And then she says, "And you can beat Duquesne." I said, "Yeah, I know we can." She said, "You'd have beat him the other night. You just needed more coffee." So it's just what we said after the game. We were just a little flat, and my mom, not the basketball student, picked up on it. We just need a little extra coffee. We'd have won that game. So I think they're going to be ready for the playoff game. I think they're excited for the matchup, excited to exact a little revenge on that loss, because we really wanted that one. And we'll be ready. Duquesne, they've had their own struggles this year with injuries. Their all-conference selection has really not had the season that she wanted to have, because she's been hurt all year. But she's back, and she's starting to play better. Their rookie point guard, as you may have saw, really gave us some fits, pressuring the ball, getting after us, and sparked their team. We'll have some answers on Thursday for that. So we're looking forward to it.
Is there a benefit to playing Duquesne, having just played them a few days ago?
I would say there's a benefit to having just lost to them a few days ago. Had we beaten Duquesne, and for the second time, you always worry about that, that dreaded letdown after beating a team twice. The adage, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. When you're better, it's not really hard to beat them 3 times. But when you're kind of evenly matched, as I'd say we are, it would be tough to pull off that next one. But yeah, I think we have the revenge factor, which, it's a little bit of fan speak, to be honest with you, the revenge thing. It's really, but what little bit is in there is a reality. We'll take it.
Yeah. You guys rebounded off that loss to Duquesne with a really great performance on, Sunday, on Senior Day, against St. Bonaventure for, the largest conference win in, the last 7 years or so. What does that give you momentum heading into the tournament, knowing like, okay, if we play with that same energy, we're going to be able to make some stuff happen?
Yeah, and I think that this team kind of believes in that to begin with. I think they know, having looked at this season with every game we've been in for the most part, except for the Dayton game, we beat UMass, who was at the second place at the time. So we know we can play with everybody in this conference. So they're ready to go. Well, I think conversely, that a loss yesterday, I think, might have left us limping into the playoffs. And I think we, rebounded, so to speak. We came back off of 3 losses in a row, and we're feeling a little bit better now. But momentum from that, I mean, not really, because we're talking 10 days before we play again.
Right.
So our readiness and preparation is going to be a direct result of their hunger and focus over 6 days of practice, because we're going to give them all 4 of those days in there, space them out, give them plenty of rest. So in those practices, how do we prepare? How focused are we? How engaged are we? And I think it's going to be good, but I'm not Nostradamus. We'll see when we get there.
One player I wanted to ask you about, Coach, is Kayla Spruhl. I mean, she's just, she missed a couple games to injury, and then when she returned to the lineup in the loss to St. Bonnie's early in the season, I mean, she's been lights out, like over 17 points a game per conference play. Like she's shooting, over 50%, 45 from 3-point range. What's been working for her?
Yeah, she just has such a calm about her. Like she really does. She's so calm in the way she plays. Whether I'm, screaming her about making a mistake or, things aren't going her way, like the most you really get out of her is like, she'll widen her eyes a little bit. Like she's so calm, and that just goes into her play. And it's easier to make shots when your body's relaxed and you're calm. She didn't get the nickname Smooth for nothing. So just really, really, really impressed with her and what she's done, in particular on the offensive end. I did note it a lot, to the press coming into the season, that I did think that her playing the 5 for us was going to give her a big advantage, because they weren't going to guard her off of screens and on the perimeter as well as some of the 4 players in our conference would. And so she's made the most of it. Yesterday's just a great example. She doesn't play almost the whole first half because she gets 2 fouls,
right, and
then finishes with 17 on a 5-for-5 performance. She's been really efficient, over 50% from the floor, and we're talking about a kid who's taken more than half of her shots or jump shots, and leading the conference in 3-point shooting. I'm pretty impressed.
Thanks so much, Coach, and good luck next week at the tournament. We really appreciate you giving us some time here. Next up, we're going to be joined by Kyle Griffin. He's the associate head coach of the men's basketball program, who will take on St. Joe's this week in the men's Atlantic 10 basketball championship. After a few words from our sponsors, we will be right back. Sports are back, and at LaSalle, they truly are something special. And boy, come game day, we take it to the next level. Fans are locked in, wearing their finest blue and gold. But it's only a real game day at LaSalle when you have done one more thing. Break out the Hers. Dial up the crunch with Hers Pub Pretzels. Going for the snack win doesn't get easier or tastier. You break out the crunchy dip receiver with Hers Ridge chips. Both go perfectly with cheering on the Explorers to the last second. Game time, halftime, overtime. It's your time to break out the Hers.
Building a great team takes many years of practice. I'm Dennis Pagliotti, and at the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers Local 1 of Pennsylvania, Delaware, we've been practicing since 1865. Check us out at bac-1.org. That's bac-1.org.
The men and women of IBEW Local Union 98 support LaSalle University and the Explorers. From the time of Tom Gola to Lionel Simmons, and to this day, the members of Local 98 have provided the electrical, wiring, and network needs for LaSalle. For more information, look us up online at ibew98.org. And we're back on Inside the L, the podcast. I'm your host, Ed LeFurge, and it's our March Madness edition. Talked to head coach Mcgilvery before. Now it's time for the men's turn. It's Kyle Griffin. He's the associate head coach. He got that title bump this year after being an assistant coach for 2 years on Coach Howard's staff. Thanks for joining us, Coach Griffin. How are you? How are things going?
Things are going well, man. It's obviously a crazy time of year heading into the conference tournament, and everybody's trying to get prepared. So we're all in the office right now, just working to get ready for Wednesday. Yeah,
COVID's obviously been the story of the season for everybody. as a whole, how has that affected road trips for you guys and a road trip in general going to the conference tournament? You can't go out to restaurants to eat. You have to socially distance on the bus. Tell us a little bit about how that's gone.
Yeah, I think travel has been much different. Just going to hotels, they're basically empty everywhere we go. Meeting spaces, all the chairs are socially distant away from each other, and kids can't sit near each other. We actually most of our team meals, we just pick the food up and bring it back to our hotel rooms. So you kind of lose some of that camaraderie there and togetherness. But I think we've tried our best to adapt to it, and we're just continuing to try to push through. We got a pretty young team here, and some of them are going through their college basketball experience for the first time. So it's a unique situation for them, but we're adapting, and we're just trying to push through and fight the hardest we can in these games.
Yeah. So typically you guys have an extra week before the conference tournament starts, with the league moving up the dates and changing its format a little bit with the championship 10 days after in Dayton. Does that alter how you prepare for this?
I wouldn't say that the moving the conference tournament up changes how we prepare. I mean, the one thing is, I think we've gotten a little bit of less of a break throughout conference play this year, and there have been a lot of schedule changes throughout the course of the season, and you end up having shorter time to prepare for these games. It ends up being a little bit of a quicker turnaround for us as coaches, and also for our players. Like they most seasons they're used to their schedule and they know what's coming next, and then to just change things up on them and make them have to adapt. It's definitely been different. It's definitely been interesting, but like I said, man, we're pushing through. We got a great staff. We got smart kids and good guys on our team who are adapting just fine, and we're just trying to keep getting better here.
With being one of the teams in the nation that didn't have any COVID shutdowns, knock on wood, and all of those game changes and schedule changes, because, maybe another team in the league gets it and now somebody else needs an opponent or whatnot. Does that help prepare you guys a little bit for going into the conference because it's those shorter time frames of having to prepare for your next opponent?
You know what? I think it can go either way. I think that some of these teams who have had shutdowns, St. Joe's being one of them, for example, they were just shut down with COVID, and for a while, sometimes that gives your kids and even the staff a little bit of a mental break, and a little bit of a breather, and you can kind of reset your focus mentally. Now other teams have gone on COVID pauses and come back and have not been as good. And so, like, it's just a balance, man, and everybody kind of reacts to it differently. Obviously, this is the first time any of us are ever going through a situation like this, and so I think it's just kind of on an individual basis how people react and are able to handle going through it. But for us, I mean, first of all, we're all incredibly proud of our guys for handling themselves the way that they have throughout the course of the season. The fact that we haven't had any COVID pauses or any positive tests throughout the year is incredibly impressive and a testament to how mature our guys are off the court and the type of human beings we have on our roster. So really proud of those guys, proud of our staff for being smart and responsible outside of work, and we're just continuing to try to stay healthy and make a run in this tournament here.
You guys, you brought up St. Joe's before. That's a team you've seen twice this season and you split results with. You beat them on national TV with a season high in scoring, and then you lost to them on national TV, giving up a season high in points. Ryan Daly came back in that second game. I imagine that played a role, and it'll probably be a focus for you guys in this A10 game. But what will you guys need to do in order to beat the Hawks and advance to that next game?
Yeah, and obviously it's a rivalry game, man. So
yeah, Big Five.
Everybody's excited about it. You go in there and tensions are high and guys are competing, and so records completely go out the window, and it's just a battle every time, no matter what when we play St. Joe's. Big Five rivalry game, and especially now that Ryan Daly's back, he gives them a different dynamic. He's an absolutely high level player, and we respect him a great deal. I think there's some things that we did in our last game that we can improve upon and get better at as we head into the tournament here, and we're looking to make some adjustments as we prepare this week, going into that game. But we're excited to see them again, man. We're licking our chops to get back out there and play against the Hawks.
JRM Supplier Consulting strategic services include competitive sourcing analysis, development of supplier contracts, contract negotiations, supplier contract management, and relationship building. We will help you establish procurement methodologies and utilize best practices for competitive sourcing event development and management. We provide experiential benefits for HR, finance, accounting, marketing, IT, supply chain, sales operations, and legal. For more information, visit us online at jrmsupplierconsulting.com.
Since 1974, Chiron Environmental Design has provided the highest quality landscape design and build services at the most cost-effective prices. Located in Plymouth Meeting and 4 regional offices throughout the greater Delaware Valley, Chiron Environmental Design is prepared to offer professional design, build, and maintenance services to address a wide range of landscape design needs. Chiron maintains specialty divisions in golf, sports, civil engineering, and interiors. To learn more, check us out today at chirondesign.com.
LaSalle fans, are you looking for something to get embroidered or imprinted? If so, let Campus Clothes help you get the look. Whether your team is in the corporate office or on the athletic field, Campus Clothes can supply your team with all its needs. Choose from a variety of t-shirts, uniforms, fleeces, polo shirts, and jackets. Visit us on the web at campusclothes.com. That's campusclothes.com. Or give us a call at 215-357-0892. That's 215-357-0892. Looking good is the first step to playing well. Campus Clothes. Get the look. We talked to Coach McGilvery about this a little bit, and you guys have a similarity in that you have a ton of players who can contribute on a given night. You've had 10 different explorers lead the team in scoring in a game this year. What does that say about the depth that you guys have?
Yeah, we always say our strength is in numbers, and we've had some small injuries and little bumps in the road where we've lost guys for small stretches of games here and there, but our strength is in numbers. I think our depth is as good as anybody else in the league, and any guy, like you said, can have a night, any given night, and where they play well and help us win a game. Now, we would love to see some more consistency across the board from everybody, but at the same time, I think that's just sometimes what happens with a young team and some inexperience. We're looking at I believe we're the 4th youngest team in the league this year, and obviously we started freshman point guard, and we're playing guys like Jack Clark and Clifton Moore a lot of minutes who haven't had a whole lot of college experience. Gill's playing for us. Scott Spencer's been banged up a little bit. So I think that it's nice to know that any guy can have a great night, any given night, but it's also, we would like to be more consistent. We would like to continue to improve as we move forward here in our program and have guys be a little bit more reliable on a night in, night out basis. But again, I think guys will be really excited going into this week. And I think that we're just fired up to get this tournament started and hopefully we can compete at a high level starting on Wednesday to make a run here.
One guy that you briefly mentioned, and I personally wanted to ask you about is Jameer Brickes. He seems to be a really bright spot for you guys moving forward. What has he brought to the team in his rookie season?
Jig is just very composed, and I think when he's got the ball in his hands, everybody just trusts his decision making. I think that he's just a steady presence on the floor that, again, can make plays for everybody. And so we're really impressed with him. We definitely believe that he should be an all rookie team type player once these awards come out. But he's like you said, he's been a huge bright spot for us, and as good as anybody on our team has been all year.
Well, Coach, thanks so much, and best of luck this week at the Atlantic 10 Men's Basketball Championship. We're going to be excited to follow along and see how you guys do.
Yep, thanks. I appreciate it, man.
That's going to do it for this episode of Inside the L, the podcast. I'm your host, Ed LeFurge. We'd like to thank head women's basketball coach Mountain Mcgilvery and the associate head coach for the men's squad, Kyle Griffin, for joining us on this March Madness edition of Inside the L, the podcast. We'd also like to thank our friends at NovaCare, our episode sponsors, for their continued support of LaSalle Athletics. Folks, we'll see you again in 2 weeks for our next episode of Inside the L, the podcast. I'm your host, Ed LeFurge. So long.
Thanks for listening to Inside the L, the podcast. Go Explorers!
In today's economy, good financial advice is critical. That's why it's important to work with a team of dedicated financial advisors committed to listening to you, understanding your concerns, and helping you make sure all aspects of your financial life are aligned. At Crow Wealth Management at UBS Financial Services, we strive to provide advice tailored to your individual circumstances and all you'd like your wealth to achieve. Talk to us about how we can help you embrace your financial future with confidence. Reach out to Chris Crow at 609-677-2243.
It's time to get a health plan that's perfect for times like this. A plan that has you covered for free doctor visits 24/7 with telemedicine and more. Get the plan more people choose than any other. Call 1-855-251-3131 today to get an Independence Blue Cross plan.
Peter Bucksbaum founded Philadelphia Mortgage Company with one goal in mind: to help people make smarter, better informed financial decisions when looking to purchase a home. With 40 years of experience and well over 10,000 clients served, PMC is committed to providing financial solutions and guiding individuals through the mortgage process. For your mortgage need, call Peter Bucksbaum at 215-740-8999 or visit philadelphiamortgage.com.